Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from the beautiful Carolinas. Today's topic is going to be, you knew something was wrong, but you didn't know what it was. Think about that for a minute. Everyone, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. So when you were in that relationship with the narcissist, you knew that something was amiss, something was off. It was unlike any other relationship you had been a part of. But yet you were curious, you were wondering, you were waiting for the next shoe to drop. You didn't know what was going to happen the next day. You were caught up in the trauma bond, most likely. Now again, the narcissist set their sights on you. They targeted you. They slithered into your life insidiously. They crept up and got as close to you as they possibly could. Next thing you know, it's too late. You're in this relationship, which turned out to be toxic and possibly even narcissistic. When you were in it, you never knew who was going to be the person you were communicating with. Would it be Dr. Jekyll or would it be Mr. Hyde? Would that person actually keep what they told you? Would they keep their word, or would they do something different? You see, the narcissist does whatever they want to do. They will sell you the sun, the moon, and the stars and everything in between, but all they care about is themselves. But back then you didn't know this. You were not educated on the narcissistic abusive cycle prior to entering that relationship. The narcissist also knew this. What they did is they learned about you and your hopes and your dreams and your goals and your future and your past and your present. They learned about your 401k, your bank account. They learned about your romantic relationships from the past. They learned about where you wanted to retire, how much money you had, if you were close with your siblings, if you were close with your parents, what kind of job you had, what educational level you had, what your hobbies were. They learned all about this. And remember, you put your guard down when you were in the beginning of that relationship. You probably were vulnerable. Perhaps you could have been a people pleaser or a yes person. And you didn't have boundaries, I can assure you. Maybe you were all three of those things, and the narcissist took advantage of this. So when you were in the relationship in the beginning, it probably moved at light speed. It probably moved rather quickly. Now, maybe it didn't for you. Maybe it moved slowly over time. Either way you cut it, the narcissist was doing their reconnaissance all about you. They were figuring out how quick you would respond when they would text you. They were figuring out if you would put them high up on the pedestal to the detriment of yourself. An example of that would be if they needed a ride to the airport at 5 o'clock on a Friday, would you leave work early to give them a ride to the airport so they could go see the new supply? That's a prime example of what these people have other people doing for them. The other people, which certainly was me and probably was you, we put our lives on hold and we do everything we can to maintain a toxic relationship. We didn't know what toxic relationships were back then. We're understanding that now. But we did know something was wrong. Something was off in that relationship. Another example would be this. But how about your money? What does the narcissist love more than money? They love your money more than money. And usually when the money runs out, so does the narcissist. But how many times did the narcissist offer to pay for things? Probably not that frequently. They may even have expected for you to pay certain things, meaning you would be paying the bulk of the relationship. Gas, food, rent, mortgage, utilities, smartphones, everything. And maybe every once in a while they would buy you a dinner or buy you a shirt from a thrift shop or something and act like it was the best thing ever. This is how they keep people strung along. This is how they keep people caught up in that trauma bond. And back then you knew something was wrong, but you couldn't put your finger on it. And as the relationship continued forward, it continued to wear you down over time. You began to lose your sense of self. You began to lose your identity. You became a shell of yourself, and you became an extension of the narcissist. When I say that, and I've said it for over 4.5 years, what that means is you lose yourself in these relationships. The narcissist molded you, they groomed you, they trapped you. They manipulated you, and you had to do what they wanted, when they wanted you to do it, and how they wanted you to do it. If you did it, you would get nothing but another list of things to do tomorrow and the next day. If you didn't do it, you would be punished for not doing it. Example, maybe they asked you to cut the grass or to pick up their grandmother or something, or do something. Let's say you didn't do it because you wanted to spend a couple hours on the couch getting some R&R, and you made arrangements for someone else to do both of those things. Well, that wouldn't be good enough. You see, they wanted to consume your energy. They wanted you picking up grandma. They wanted you cutting the grass. They didn't want you to outsource it. They wanted to steal your energy and your time. This is how they keep people trapped. This is why you can never, ever stay in front of the narcissist. This is why just when you think you know what they're gonna do, they shift gears and they do something different, because it's bizarro world. What is in is out, what is black is white, what is up is down. You can never get your bearings. You can never get your footing when you're in these relationships. And back then, you knew something was wrong. And as that relationship developed, you knew more and more things were wrong. Example, triangulation. That's my least favorite thing that these people administer to their targets and to other people. Well, when you were being triangulated back then, number one, you didn't know what it was. But number two, they did know what it was, because what they were doing is they were putting you or pitting you up against another person who may or may not have even existed, seeing who would give more attention to the narcissist. Now, again, let's use this example and say that that person did exist, a real person, and you knew who the person was. Well, if someone's trying to triangulate you with somebody you know, that's a massive red flag. That's a ding, 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 get out of that relationship ASAP. Again, you didn't know it back then, but what the narcissist was doing when they were triangulating you with somebody you knew is they were basically telling you, yeah, that person is either giving me fake adoration or real adoration, but either way, this relationship that I'm in with you, it's about to expire, and you're gonna do nothing about it because you don't know what I'm doing to you. This is what the narcissist does. This is how they twist the knife in people. This is why no good deed goes unpunished. This is why anybody, and I mean anybody, is susceptible to falling into the jaws of the narcissistic relationship. Once you get the wisdom, and once you apply the tools, and you heal properly, and you understand that your energy is priceless, your time is invaluable, and your mind and your mindset is so precious. Once you understand those things, then you go no contact, and you block the toxic people. You delete them, you remove them, and all flying monkeys and people associated with them. If you've done it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you will in the future, because if you leave any avenue of communication open with the narcissist, even just a little fraction, they will try to kick it back open at a later date if they choose to do it. And that means they may hoover you. Don't accept a hoover. Become unhooverable. Get off the radar of the narcissist. But when you knew things were wrong, but you didn't know what they were, think about another one. When you would wake up in the morning and the narcissist, let's say that you were married or you were in a romantic relationship, you would roll over, they'd be gone. And you'd be saying, what? It's only 6:15 in the morning on a Saturday. Where are they? I don't get this. What happened to fooling around or a little weekend romance, or at least waking me up and telling me what they're doing? Well, they're going to be gone because they want to do what they want to do, and they wanted to punish you for allegedly sleeping in late. See, they were in competition with you. When I say sleeping in late, if you woke up after the narcissist and they were already gone, then they're going to punish you for sleeping in. You're so lazy. Why don't you get up and do things? I do things all the time. But what you didn't know back then is wherever they were going, and you will never know where they were when they weren't with you, but wherever they were, most likely they were doing something with a new source of supply or a new hobby. Example, bike riding, or buying plants, or going to a yard sale, or going to the mall, allegedly walking around the mall super early in the morning, or taking walks around the block. They were doing something that benefited them and was going to hurt you. You just didn't know it back then. So using the example, early in the morning on a Saturday, when you would wake up, they'd be gone. Then that would turn into a Sunday. And then the next thing you know, you're not even spending weekends together. Here's a very, very important part of this video. Many times the narcissist will do things like this. They will say to the people that they were in relationships with, I will give you X number of days per week. Now that could be 1 day per week. It could be 2 days per week. It could be 3 days per week. But they will put a limit on how many days per week the person, who perhaps maybe was you, could spend with them. Why would one person put a limit on how much time they could spend with another person unless that other person, the toxic person, is doing things behind their back? This is what the narcissist does. This is what they've been doing. It's what they will always do, because the narcissist knows that they have multiple people on the hook at any one time. And what they're doing is they're saying, okay, this person can get 2 days a week, this person gets 1 day a week, and this person can get 3 days a week. Oh, and I get 1 day to do whatever I want to do. It's almost as if they have to schedule you in their agenda or schedule you in their itinerary. And then again, when you, perhaps this was you, when you were looking forward to spending, let's say it's 2 days a week you were getting with the narcissist. When the narcissist decides one of those 2 days they don't want to spend with you, what happens? Well, now you were waiting the last 5 days to spend one of these 2 days with them, and they're nowhere to be found. Well, now you're on the hook. This is what the narcissist does, and something's wrong. If two people aren't in a loving, stable, healthy relationship, a reciprocal relationship, and you never were in one when you were with the narcissist, no matter what you think you weren't, when two people are in a loving, stable, healthy relationship, it's equal. You communicate. You're there for the other person. When someone's sick, you're there. When someone needs help, you're there. When someone needs a loan of money or someone to cover you, you're there. You'll get none of that with the narcissist. What you get is a person who just wants to act like a petulant child and have somebody take care of them. The narcissist is looking for a mom. They're looking for a dad. They're looking for someone to pat them on the back and give them credit for doing whatever they're doing. And whenever they do something toxic or nasty, or they manipulate people, then they want that person to look the other way and to not make them atone for it. That's why these people, they never improve. I'm talking about the narcissist. They only deteriorate over time. They will never improve. So back then you knew something was wrong, but you didn't know what it was. Now you're understanding so much about narcissism, so much about humanity, and most importantly, so much about you. You see, the narcissist looked at you and they saw what you could do for them for a period of time, which was the length of that relationship. They captured you. They kept you in that trauma bond. They kept you in that devaluation stage as long as they could. And whenever they got whatever they wanted, or most of what they wanted, that's usually when these relationships end. You need to understand, you always knew something was wrong. You knew something was off, but you didn't know what it was. And that goes from the minute you met them till the minute you figured out what narcissism was. I'll say this before I close the video, because I know the lighting's changing because it's super hot here. Yes, and it's almost 100 degrees where I am. But the ending of the relationship, think about how it ended. The ending probably came out of left field. It ended with a thud, a crash, and a bang. And you didn't even know what had happened. But your whole world stopped on a dime, just like that. Who in their right mind would end a relationship like that with someone who claimed that they loved you, professed that they loved you, maybe even married you or had children with you? I'll tell you who would do it. A person who wants to twist the knife in deeper, showed you how little they cared about you, even though you knew something was off, something was wrong. Now they ripped that mask off and crashed it to the ground in 1,000 pieces and said, try and figure this one out, see if you can. This is what the narcissist does. But the beauty of you is you figured it out, and you're healing, and you're focusing on yourself, and you're maintaining your boundaries. You've gone no contact, and you are processing things, not only about narcissism and humanity, but yourself. And that's the path. That's what you must do. If not now, when? So everyone, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from the very hot Carolinas. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon, evening, or morning. No matter where you are on the planet, you are not alone. I love you all. God bless you. You are not alone. And I don't want this camera to get too hot and end the video early, so I'm going to make this really quick. Yes, I got a haircut. Yes, I hope you like it. Yes, if you don't, my hair will grow back in. Yes, I have a full head of hair. And yes, everything's going well. Just want to share it with you. I hope wherever you are, you're doing great, and you are focusing on yourself. You're controlling what you can control. You are being real and genuine and authentic with yourself. You're letting go whatever you need to from the toxic residue of the narcissistic relationship, and you are moving forward. I love you all. God bless you, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody. Bye.